Welcome back to Maths with Buick, and in these questions we're asked to evaluate the logs and not use a calculator. So we can begin by recalling that log base AY is equal to x, and this is equivalent to AX is equal to Y. Now that there is in the log tables, and it's important that you know it's there and be familiar with that and be able to use it. So we're going to start off with our log to the base 1/3, 9 equals x. So we're going to use this down here. We know that our a is our base, which is 1/3, so we're going to write down 1/3. We're going to make it to the power of x. In this case, it's going to be x, and we equal it to y, and y is the 9. So we have to try and find a value there for x. And we begin by transforming this third into 3 to the negative 1. That there is a rule of indices where you can bring your number underneath here to the top. And in exchange for that, you make it a negative power. And we equal it to 9. Within logs, it's very important that if you have a 3 here, you also must have a 3 with a power over here, so we can evaluate what the value of x will be. So we have 3 minus x. I multiply this together because that's the rule of indices, and we say to ourselves, what power on the 3 will give us a 9, and we know it's squared, so it's a 2. We can evaluate the x now because they're both the same down here, so we just take the powers out in their own, and we see that minus x is equal to 2, so x is equal to minus 2. We also have this question over here. So before we begin, we're actually going to transform this. So we have root 2, 8 is equal to x. We know that if we have a square root, that's also a power. So we're going to say log base 2 to the power of a half, 8 is equal to x. We're going to apply our log rule up here. We can see that our base is 2 power of a half. And we need a value for our x now. And our x is going to be our x here. So there's our x. And we equal it to 8. We can see we have a base here of 2. So this also has to be a 2. So 2 to what number gives us 8? And we know it's 3. So we have 2 to 3. Because we have our two numbers the same here, we can now equate off our x. So a half x is equal to 3. But we don't want a half x, we want 1x. So we multiplied the half by the x here, so on the other side we divide because it's the opposite. And we can bring our 2 up here and multiply. So 2 by 3 is 6, so the value of the x is 6.